Welcome to Optimize My Life, the ultimate radio show where we unlock the secrets to living our best lives. Now, before we dive into this exciting journey of self-improvement and empowerment, I want to take a moment to thank our incredible sponsor, the Hope Collection, for making this show possible. Their unwavering commitment to spreading hope and positivity in our lives is truly remarkable. We believe in the power of interaction, so we want you to be a part of this incredible journey. Call in, write to us, or connect on social media. We'd love to hear your questions, experiences, and challenges. Together, we'll create a thriving community of like-minded individuals, supporting each other to thrive and shine.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is Thursday morning, and it is Wellness Vibes. In this show, we focused on neurodiversity and autism by professionals and parents who live in that realm. September is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I would like to talk about one of the biggest kept secrets, one of the things we're not talking about ever, and a lot of people do not know this. And with it being Mental Health Awareness Month, Suicide Prevention Month, I want to bring it to attention so that there are resources, there is help available. But before we do that, I have a huge announcement. Speaking of which, Georgette, your show time may change.
No, that's wonderful. Happy New Day, everybody. I am struggling this morning because I am grieving, but I'm here.
We are going to launch the first of its kind anywhere in the world, a series of shows. I neurodivergence for neurodivergence. Every house will have are either on the spectrum or they will be parents of kids on the spectrum. And it's to reach out and give each other voices and how to help each other. But it's also for parents to listen in and understand their kids and how they think. And it's also going to be for parents to be able to talk about their struggles and figure out ways to help them, their children, or individuals, how to help themselves. That'll be launching in a couple weeks. So depending on time works the best, your show may change its time. Because we're going to do it like our noon show where it'll be all the shows at the same time all week long.
This is beautiful. I love to hear this. Come on, progression.
You want some more exciting news?
Yes, keep it coming.
So I literally just signed with Pathos Communications. It's a PR team out of England to represent me in the work that we're doing in neurodiversity.
Wonderful. Excellent.
And the cool part is from the first person I talked to all the way to the last person, everyone has been affected by neurodiversity, if not personally, someone in their family. So they knew exactly what I was talking about. So there's going to be a lot more information coming out mainstream. This world will change sooner than later. So we are one step closer to getting a healthier lifestyle that is science-based for future children and children currently. And we can stop this puppy training therapy so that kids are taught how to respond instead of being taught it's okay to be different. We can't practice.
I can't wait till we do that, teach that.
When we really aren't. So September is all about suicide awareness, mental health month.
Yes.
So we all know the veteran suicide rate is extremely high. But I have even higher statistics that's hidden under the rug that people don't talk about. Autistic individuals. 66% of individuals on the spectrum have considered suicide.
That is crazy.
35% have attempted suicide. Autistic
and what's
individuals.
even more alarming is the age, the early in age. Give them that statistic too, Mary.
I haven't gotten there yet. This is in general, all autistic. So, autistic individuals are more than 3 times as likely to attempt suicide compared to the general population. Young adults and teens. Here's the scary part. Sorry, my son played with my mouse, so my mouse is ADHD. 25.2% of autistic youth have considered suicide. Out of that 25, 8.3% have attempted suicide. Autistic youth are 9 times more likely to seek emergency psychiatric care compared to their neurotypical peers. This came from 50 different sources compiled together.
He ain't coming today. He's coming. He said he's still in the bed, man.
You know, we mourn the losses of veterans. We talk about veteran suicide, and they need help. I'm not saying that. I was one of those, struggling, but we don't talk about this. A lot of times when a child, especially an autistic child, reaches out for help and says something, the first comment that comes out of a professional's mouth is, "I am sorry you feel that way." And they write it off. So first you're telling this child it's not okay to feel this way, and then you ignore it and blame it on the autism. So you instantly invalidate their feelings. And I've seen this happen myself with my own child, with her teacher. And then when I tried to address this, the teacher looked at me and yells at me and says I'm interrupting her educational time. Our systems are not designed to look at a child on the to look at a child on the spectrum and say, what can we do to help you? It is designed for these children to live in this world of how they can be like everybody else at their own expense. I was in a networking meeting, I talked about this on Monday, with a lady who runs a school. She owns a school for traditional ABA therapy. She has no idea what it is. She has no idea how it's ran. And the only comment she could make was, it works because my nephew talks. And I looked at her and I go, does he actually talk or does he regurgitate everything you tell him to say? Because is it really talking when they're basically writing out a script? They're playing a part? They're being an actor?
Echolalia.
That's not echolalia. That is literally, the difference is echolalia is when they repeat things over and over again to regulate themselves. So like they're taking a video, they're taking a song, they're taking scripts, and they're just repeating the phrase over and over and over and over again because they're regulating. That scripting is what scripting is when they are literally, you sit there and you tell them and you play these games where you're saying, all right, you meet a person. Introduce yourself. Hi, my name is. You wait for them to answer. How are you doing? And you can literally tell by the tone of their voice there's no emotion in it. They are literally reciting a script. That's what scripting is. Echolalia is literally just repeating things that helps them self-regulate. It's an involuntary response. Kind of like when you get a song stuck in your head.
Okay.
Instead of it getting stuck in their head, they're verbally saying it. They are taught scripting, which is why the conversation is so hard for them, because you can't predict what a regular neurotypical human will say. And so they're not taught to just flow with a conversation. They are taught how to have that conversation and how to say things. And they're also taught what not to say. Like a lot of these kids, a lot of these individuals have specific interests. And they can spew millions of facts about that, if it's space, if it's whales, if it's cars, something.
Mm-hmm.
But they're taught that's not appropriate because no one wants to hear about it. So for them, a conversation for them is talking about what, because you always are taught as a kid, you talk about things that interest you. That's how you have a conversation. But because they're so iron focused on what's interest them, they have very limited areas of interest. And so they're taught that's not appropriate because they'll bring it in at inappropriate times. Or, you don't talk like that. And so that's part of the reason why they don't have conversations. They have a hard time conversation because they're told and structured their conversations. There's been stories, interviews done, I've been doing with a lot of individuals. And we focus so much on, in therapies and stuff like that, how to adapt to society, how to sit down and eat at the table, how to use your utensils because this is what's normal, how to sit and use a pencil correctly because this is what you're supposed to do. But we never ask them why they're uncomfortable at a table. Good example, my son. He will never, ever, ever sit at a dinner table. Only time he does when we're at a restaurant. The reason is, and he explained this to us, is that it's too much. His sister's mouth is going a mile a minute because she talks all the time. And she's bouncing around because she can't sit still. All the food on the table and everything going on around the table is just all too much. He likes to be by himself and eat. Or get up and walk around. And I've gotten to the point that I don't care how he eats, as long as he eats. And we did, before I knew better, we did a lot of food therapy and, table therapy where they would force him to use utensils and things like that. And it became too much for him. So we slowly integrate. I always give him utensils, but if he uses his fingers, I don't care. Understanding why. For them, they do everything for a reason. You have to take the time to find out why. But as we're processing, we're talking about how to have a conversation, how to sit still, how to sit and focus, how to do this, how to do that. It is literally like being a Southern belle going through reform school and learning how to be a lady. But you're doing this your whole entire life. And in the process of all this, they're literally being taught what to do and never given an opportunity to think for themselves. And one of the things we are not teaching these people, especially young ladies, is what puberty is, what it feels in their bodies when they go through it. And so with this whole identity issue and all this stuff going on, this group of individuals are being the target. And a lot of them are being told and talked into hormone treatments, sterilizations, surgeries, instead of actually getting to know these people and explain to them what's going on with their bodies. And by the time they feel comfortable and understand everything and figure it all out, it's too late. This is where we are missing the mark in everything when it comes to these groups of children. Because we are not breaking things down for them that's important. We're breaking down what we deem as society is important. And this is why I call the autistic world the puppy therapy. Because literally we are taking these humans at a very young age, forcing them into therapies, telling them what they need, without ever asking them what they need, without looking at what they need. It's what we deem as adults that they need. And you wonder why these children and young adults into adults have considered suicide, are struggling with mental health issues. And look at your life. If you were one of these children that was forced from therapy to therapy, forced into being like everybody else, not ever given that opinion, not given that chance, not ever asked simple questions, and given the words to explain those thoughts, and being told and comforted and said, it's okay to think this way, it's okay to be this way, would you want to live? Honestly? And then on top of all that, you're getting medications to sit and pay attention. You're getting medications to go to sleep. You're getting medications to get up and focus. You're getting told that you have to eat this, this, and this because it makes your body better. And you're constantly being told that you have this label. You're constantly being lived in a world where that label controls your whole life. And you're identifying, being told this label is you. And this is as good as it's going to get. And as far as it goes. Would you really want to live in that world? This is what majority of these kids go through on a regular basis. Constantly corrected, constantly told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And then you have the well-meaning parents that try, but then they do everything for you. And this is why it's proven children on the spectrum that are given that opportunity to be a normal child, living in a world like a regular child, given help when they need it, adjust better, are happier, and turn out more neurotypical than children that are forced into all these worlds.
To comment on the aspect of teaching our children how to be and how to socialize, I'm still on the fence with that because I know you say it's like puppy training therapy, but if we don't give them some type of normality going on, and how will they know how to be in a social setting? Do we just allow them to themselves and the awkwardness and other children to stab at their confidence and kill their confidence, or do we come in and say, this is how this works in this setting? And I say that to say, because I just want to go back to the training part, but I say that to say because Gage, when he self-regulates, he talks to himself. And then one day we were in the car, and there was a pot. I think I've shared this before. A pot is a person of the street sitting and clearly talking to themselves. And he had the nerve to say, whoa, look at him, Mom. What is he doing? Talking to himself. I said, that's the same thing you do. He's like, no, it's not. I don't look like that. I said, to some people you do. And it was like a little light bulb turned on, like, damn, okay, all right. Let me check my behavior sometime, or not that he needs to stop it, because I don't want him to stop being him. I just want to bring awareness to your behavior, so you'll know that people are going to people.
Yeah.
Because their lack of knowledge, their lack of compassion, their lack of awareness of what's going on with him, or, and so I have to tell him, be mindful.
But that's different than teaching communication. Better to learn how to communicate with another child that's a neurotypical child and build that in a setting where they are working with a normal child, or is it better to take a child, put them in a room with the teacher, and sit there and build communications? The misconception of most of these studies is they take all these children that are on the spectrum, put them in a room together, and expect them to learn how to be regular kids. What the going trend has been with a lot of these different schools is they take normal children, neurotypical children who have speech issues, stuttering, something like, problems with pronunciation, and they put them with an autistic individual and help them both, one, learn how to sort of build that conversation. So they're learning how to communicate with a regular person in real scenarios. So it's more of a flowing conversation. So like a good example is like speech. What's your favorite foods? And you sit with prompts working back and forth to teach how to ask questions and answers with a neurotypical and with a normal child.
Got you.
That's how the real world works. As opposed to a kid sitting down with a specialist, only that specialist, and going by scripts every day. This is what you say to greet somebody. Hi, my name is. How are you doing? Goodbye. And building these pre-templates, basically. That's what I'm talking about. You taking kids, putting them together to learn how to interact with each other in a safe environment, but it is unscripted and natural flowing, and you put in subtle prompts as a professional or as the parent to help them communicate back and forth. Because then that's natural, that's flowing. I've actually partnered with a company that's going to help me build using ChatGPT or an AI program to help these kids learn how to have conversations, how to speak based on their responses. So it'll be a visual audio where at start a conversation, AI prompts back and it goes back and forth. And so it's a natural flowing conversation. It's like talking to Siri or Google. So it's that natural flowing back and forth with minimal prompts only when needed, so that they learn how to speak correctly in a sense and keep that conversation flowing, but in a natural way. That's the key phrase, is speech. Anything that needs that for them to interact in society needs to be in a natural way that's comfortable and middle for them, not just something they memorize. This is the reason why a lot of neurotypicals end up in Hollywood. They're very good about being able to memorize a script, spew that script out, and then walk out the door. They're done.
So we give them prompt languages and prompt word fonts, right?
If they need it.
Okay.
You know, it's like some of the prompting is like ideas. Or like, for instance, favorite foods. You know, you have two kids talking and then you're asking, well, he doesn't know what to go next. You know, one of the prompts would be, you know, what do you like about that food? Or why is that your favorite food? And they, you know, why don't you ask your buddy here why it's his favorite food, and start giving, you know, gentle prompting with little subtle hints in a way that helps that conversation going. But not done in a way that you're basically telling him to ask them
to say
directly.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
You know, it's funny you talk about that. I started watching on Peacock an old show from like the 2000s, I believe. Remember The Middle? There was that kid that had brittle bone disease in real life, but his name was Brick. And he was the baby, and he was in special classes. And this was the start of the shows of different kids. But he would always talk to himself under his breath. It was his regulation.
Yeah, that he learned how to do it under his breath.
He would always do it under his breath because the parents always pointed it out because they didn't know better then. It was one of the first shows that showed, you know, different tics of kids. It was the first of its kind.
What was the name of this?
The Middle.
Oh,
Patricia Heaton.
With the middle brother? Malcolm in the Middle, or just the middle?
The Middle.
Okay, I'm not sure.
It came out around the same time Malcolm in the Middle was on, or right towards the end of Malcolm in the Middle. That's why it didn't. It ran for like 4 or 5 years.
Really?
Oh,
goes and checks it out.
Yeah. Actually, it might give you a little bit of insight.
Yeah. Because I want to help gauge with it. Not that I want to, like, I never want to change my baby. He is so awesome the way he is. But just bring awareness that when people are peopling, that how this looks from the inside out. Because I'll do things, and he was like, that's crazy. That's weird. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, he know what's crazy and weird by his standards. So, let's bring him up to speed here.
Well, right. And the thing is, you know, we don't always see what's going on in ourselves. We always see what's going on outside. We're not self-aware. Humans in general really aren't self-aware. That's why you always need a third party. And so helping him understand that helps him develop that filter, because these kids don't have a filter. That's why we have the term in our house, indoor-outdoor voice. They know when they're using their outdoor voice that the filter's busted. They need to adjust the filter. But there are natural, more friendlier ways, more adaptive ways to help our children that don't involve structuring everything. Because that's the big misconception, is that these kids need this military-grade structure. That predictability is safety. And yes, for them, predictability is safety. But if they have a safe space in their home, then they will be able to thrive better in unpredictability. Because life is unpredictable. Speaking of which, you were talking about your son having a hard time sleeping on his own. I have an idea for you to try.
Okay, let me hear it.
All right. So, do you have a spare like twin bed that you could put up next to your bed?
Uh-huh.
Take that, put it next to the bed. Have him sleep on that bed, even though it's yours. Literally butted up together, 50 style.
Ooh,
you know,
honey.
these have it.
Let's
then,
back it up. Auntie Mary, let's get him to sleep in his bed, okay? We ain't got there yet.
This is the thing. All right. So, take that bed, put it right next to your bed.
Okay.
You sleep right next. Okay, so he has to sleep right next to you, right?
Yes, Lord. Right up under me.
All right. So, the side that you sleep on, put the bed on that side of the bed if possible, or you sleep on the bed next to the twin bed. So then he's sleeping on a twin bed, you're laying on the edge of the bed. Get it?
Fact, always on the edge of the bed.
Yeah. But that way he's up on top of you still, but he's on his own bed.
Okay.
Start there. Then it's going to be a slow process. Set up a token reward system. So if he can lay down in his bed next to your bed, the first time he does it, he gets a treat. A special reward only because he does that.
Hurt.
Can be anything, all right? After he does that, the first night, now he gets a reward if he can stay in his bed, that bed next to your bed, a couple nights and let you slowly move over.
Mm.
Then
Bed
after a couple times,
so we're going to call this project.
Yeah. And then after a couple nights, if he's doing that and staying in his bed, and you're sliding over, then he gets that treat. Okay? You're in that bed, slowly move the bed away from your bed.
All right.
So it builds that space.
What I have been trying, yeah, it's going to take a few months because what I do right now currently is have him go get in his bed and sleep with him in the bed, and then I go get in my bed. But then we play musical beds all night. Meaning if he rolls over and nobody's there at 2:30, 3 o'clock, he's going to get in the bed with me or my father.
Let's just try and see if having the bed in your room will be enough.
Yeah, that's why I said this is a different approach. This one?
Because it might not be that he needs to be in bed with you. He needs somebody in that room.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So there's someone in the room. That's different. So okay, I'm gonna give you that one. You won this round, Mary.
Only reason I'm saying this is I'm going through this with Ariana.
Really? Listen.
Oh yeah.
Chime in, moms and dads, if your baby still sleeping in your bed, okay? But I'm gonna tell you, I'm always going back to this post I saw. Well, it was a daddy who posted his son, and he was like 27 years old, still sleeps the same way as he did when he was a baby. Y'all, that cannot be my life.
No, there's something wrong there. But funny as
he was neurodivergent.
He's looking for comfort and security. Something's bothering him. He needs that extra person there. But ironic as it is, David came up with a solution to the problem.
I love him. I just want to take a moment right now and just give you your flowers on air, because you have done such a phenomenal job. You're a wonderful mother anyway, but just how you allowed them to just come in and be themselves, and you come up with these nifty ways to communicate. And I'm at awe all the time, and I want you to know that I learn a lot from you in the motherhood department, and I'm always in awe at the stuff you come up with. I love how your brain works and articulate these things so that they can be greater. So I just had to tell you that.
Thank
you. I needed you to know that. Yeah.
David's solution to the problem was, because David, I've talked a lot about this, David's safe space is our couch. The safe space couch and his TV, that's all his don't touch, leave it alone. All right? So David's come up with a solution. He fought with Dad for like 2 hours because David wanted to bring in the lawn glider into the house. Like, no. No, there's no room. So we negotiated with him and brought the futon in with the condition that he had to clean up the living room and make space for it, and we'd have to move his couch to make space for it. So he picked up his whole entire mess, allowed us to move his couch and take it and clean it out and do whatever without a fit. He brought the futon in, set it up, and his sister was sleeping there. So now they sleep in the same room together. It happened to be my living room. Now, what we did is we moved the futon out, took the bunk bed set because I want David to transition onto a real bed. We took the bunk beds out of his sister's room, put the futon in there so if she needs a space, she's got a space to go sleep on her own. But now in my living room is the bunk bed set. So butted up next to the couch. And so he sleeps on the top, and so we are moving him at night onto the bottom bunk bed to help transition him into bed. Fine. But he helped us to help her because she doesn't like to be alone at night. She needs someone with her. Because she's been having bad dreams. She's scared. She's nervous about school starting, among other things. But she wants someone to be with her all the time. And that was a happy compromise. So for him, it might be finding out why he doesn't like being in his room at night by alone. But it could be something as simple as just taking his bed and just moving it in your room for now. Especially with school starting and things like that. There's a lot of transitions that are constantly happening in your world right now. So. And that helps you from playing musical beds.
I'm here for it. I'll report for you live, honey.
Make sure when you're doing this, you talk to him about it and see what he thinks and make him part of that decision. And work with him, if we move your bed into my room, will you sleep in your bed all night and let me have my space? Will that be enough to make you feel better?
Come on, can you get me?
Huh? You broke up a little bit.
No, I said that is beautiful. Like in your space, have your space. Because we talk about, personal space and other people's space because sometimes when he talks to you, he wants to be right in your face. I had to let him know, like, hey, I know, but I had to let him know, like, hey, I know it's how we talk, but some people might not, feel comfortable with you that close to them. His response to you, oh, okay.
Yeah. And you're having this conversation 20 minutes later, again.
Right.
Ariana's the same way. Ariana's exactly the same way. I finally got her to understand Mom's normal face is not mad. It's just that God made her normal face a bitch face. It's just how God made it to say. It doesn't mean I'm mad. I'm just here.
And that's another thing parents our children think because we say something or do something or change something that we are automatically mad. And I'm like, I'm not mad. I just want you to understand my space and your space. That's it.
Mm-hmm. That's it. But that's the key is, talking to them, filling in those blanks. And that's the one thing we forget to do. Because with neurotypical or normal kids, they understand those hidden innuendos better. They just naturally pick it up. But in reality, they really don't. I mean, really, how many men, I'm not going to bash men, but in a sense, how many guys really don't get it? How many times do you tell them the same stupid thing over and over and over and over again?
Big fact.
Which is why I have the sarcasm, and I always joke that, when Jeff Foxworthy came out with "Here's Your Sign," I was Bill Engvall. Here's your sign, or you may be a redneck because they had it in mind. Because Andy has this habit of always asking me the dumbest fucking questions at the wrong time. And instead of me blowing up, I just become sarcastic.
Because we can't blow up. We can't blow up.
Oh, I blow up, but it's just the kids get upset.
You got to have the same patience that you have with the children with Andy. You have to. And I'm telling you that because it's what I've done. I have to have the same patience with my daddy.
But it's so hard when you're saying the same damn thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. And it's worse with him than with the kids. Because at least they're doing something dumb that's different. They're not doing the same dumb thing over and over again. He's doing the same dumb shit over and over and over again. It's the same argument. It's like Groundhog Day on a regular basis. But he's learning really quick. And so Dad made the comment one day about him being the king of the house, right? And I looked at him and I'm like, whatever. And so David comes up to me the other day and goes, meet your new king. Bow before your king. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, excuse you? He goes, that's okay. The king forgives you. All I could do was I'm at the sink doing dishes, and he's like, yep. That's where you need to be. I'm hungry. And all I could do was look at him, and I grabbed the hose out of the sink, and I just nailed him with the hose. Because he's developing that little twisted sense of humor to try to screw with you and get a rise out of you because I've been in too good of a mood and not sarcastic, not messing around, getting stuff done. So he had to figure out some way to get a rise because he knows when Dad does it, Dad gets a backhand to the gut. Or Mom goes on strike. Crucial is to sit and talk to your kids. You wouldn't believe how many parents I've talked to and asked them, what does your kid do for fun? So, what does Gage do for fun? A lot of parents can't answer that question. They don't know. It's like, how do you not know what your kid does for fun?
Listen, because they just give them a phone. And so yesterday, Gage thought it was okay to leave his homework at school. So you know what I told him this morning? Leave that phone at home. Maybe you'll remember that homework today.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I think that parents kind of know what their children like, but they just don't engage in it because it's not them. We have techie kids, you know. These kids love.
But these parents literally didn't know. They're like, one of them goes, well.
Oh, shoot. They did not know?
they're like, one goes, he likes to throw a toy, and I go, and he's 20. I go, no, he's throwing a toy because he's trying to get your attention, get a reaction. They literally, I go,
now he likes to throw a toy. That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, and I go, he's just doing that to get your attention, to get a reaction so you interact with him, because he knows that works. It's like being a 2-year-old, because that's his level of what the parents treat him, is like a 2-year-old. You know, I go, does he play video games? Does he play on the computer? Does he watch YouTube videos? Does he have a favorite show he watches? They're like, I don't know. This kid lives in your house with you. How do you not know? You know, my kids are all into that stupid Mr. Stinky's Detention.
What is that?
It's on Roblox, and there's YouTube videos, and it's really funny. It really is. The videos are really funny. But the one good thing about video games, you know, back in the day when we used to do like square dancing and crap like that, those were all designed for hand-eye coordination and helping with the left and the right side of your brain. So a lot of these keyboard video games do the same concept.
First of all, I was today years old when I realized that line dancing was for hand-eye coordination. When you said it, it's like something went ding, 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 and they tell you what to do, too. Right foot, left foot. Cha-cha real smooth.
2 stomps. That's right. That is Ariana's new favorite song, by the way.
Really?
Yes. She's like, Mom, you know that song? I go, yes. Mom got drunk to that song plenty times. Mom was really good at that song. The electric slide.
Oh, yeah. You got to see it. It's electric.
No, I'm really good
they
at
tell
it
you
myself.
have to see it, and then they give you the directions.
Remember the Tootsie Roll?
What? The butterfly? That's old. Let me see your Tootsie Roll. Absolutely. 95 South on the boys 69. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you tell your age.
Yeah. That was like the only reason you went to the clubs late at night, because when they start, when you get there early, no one gets on the dance floor. Then about 10, 11 o'clock, they start playing those old line dancing songs. Just get everybody out there.
Listen, so I always had a curfew. My mama didn't play that. So when I did go out to the little teen clubs and stuff, I was dancing from the time I got there to the time it was time for me to leave, because I know that this was all the fun I was going to get, because I had to get at home. My mama didn't play that. I had to go home. My friends be like, but we just got here. Meanwhile, I've been here, so I got to go.
Yeah, I didn't go to the teen clubs. I didn't go till I was 18.
My uncle was he was a sheriff, and he would be the security, and that was how I could go, because my uncle was security. Literally how I could go. Yeah. It wasn't like gee, you can just go. No. And if by any chance my uncle was not on security duty that night, don't even ask. And then after every home football game, they had like a dance. They called it a sock hop. Yeah. I could go to those, but I couldn't stay but like an hour. My mama didn't play that. She did not play the radio, honey.
Yep.
Could do nothing.
No, I completely understand. Then, what the sad part is kids of this generation don't
We'll
have
never
that.
know. They don't. They really don't. They really, really don't. They also don't even have, I don't know if times and technology, or even just the way that the world is right now, and the state of everybody's depressed and everybody is suffering financially. And I'm like, have the parents just forgotten about the children? Or the lack of awareness and care? Did the parents get younger? Like, what has changed?
Actually, the
why
parents have gotten older.
The parents have gotten older now? Okay.
You know, our generation was a generation of you have your career first, and then you have the kids. So you have a lot of parents in their 30s, 40s having kids. And the problem with that is that they already are, you know, so wrapped up in their careers and their own personal stuff that they're not taking the time to be with their kids. You know, you're on maternity leave, and then you're going back to work if you even take maternity leave. Kids get shoved into daycares. And when you get home, you're getting home late at night, you know, and you're still finishing up working, or, you know.
And parents don't cook anymore either. No. One thing I pride myself on, I don't care what I got going on, y'all. I cook dinner for Gage, whether it's some spaghetti or some type of plant-based meatloaf. Every now and again, I fry him some chicken because he does eat chicken and he loves fried chicken. And I'll do that sometimes, or I make a plant-based burger. But I get him in there with me. And I teach him how to cook and do things. So that's one thing that we share, that we do a lot of, is that I allow him to cook his meals, and I show him how to cook things that he wants to eat. He can cook rice and grits and oatmeal.
The big thing we learned about in COVID was, you know, mac and cheese out of a box, ramen noodles. You know, all that instant stuff became a commodity. Because you couldn't go to a restaurant anymore.
For sure. That was crazy, right? I still think about COVID, and I actually enjoyed it personally. I spent a lot of time. I just had so much time, and I enjoyed myself. But also COVID, I was still busy via Juiced Up, because people was thinking that they, you know, they were dying. People were, hiccup. People were dying, but also people didn't want to die, so they was just like, hey, can you help me? I need juice. I need this. I need that. Teach me this. So I was still pretty busy via COVID, but I got to, you know, have a garden, and I plant things with my dad and Gage, and these are things that Gage will remember. I know my dad will remember until his last days, and so it was just a good time. It was just a good time to be with family and get back to simpler times. Like we knew we got closer with our neighbors and things, and it wasn't a bad time for us. It was not. Gage had a COVID birthday party. I ordered a trampoline. The people came and sat it up and left because it was outside. I ordered him a cake. The lady came, dropped the cake off, and left. I ordered decorations and came, decorated my backyard. He had 3 people to show up for his birthday. One of my very good friends and Gage's barber, he tied balloons to the mailbox because Gage, he just loves him. And my neighbor brought champagne, and it was me and my father, and we was just outside. I strung lights and everything to celebrate him, and he was just so happy because he had all the things he needed. He had a gift and music, and that's all he needed. And it just got me back, just thinking about when times were simpler and how much, you know, sometimes we take those simple times for granted, but our grandparents, they had it together. You know, they sit on the porch in front of a fan. That's just what they did. It was just a good time for us. For a good bit of people, COVID was a good time to reconnect with people.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, Andy and David, you know, got trapped in a room together, and they were stuck. So Andy got to see David for David and not a broken kid. And that's what brought them closer together.
Wow. And that's a tearjerker right there, Mary. You done made my eyes water up on that one.
Before that, David didn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah. I believe that because during COVID, my dad got to see Gage for who he is. And they became closer. Like, my dad's always, from the moment I brought Gage home, my daddy was holding him. Like, I have several pictures. I'm like, give me my baby. And my daddy was like, I got him, you rest. I got it. Because he was, like, just so proud to be a pop-pop. And I was like, you acting like you don't have 18 other grandkids. But he just loved him some Gagey. And they're best buds. You know, they hang out all the time.
So, as we run out of time for today.
For sure. It always happens when we get good.
It always.
Yeah.
Talk to your kids. Listen to your kids. Ask questions.
Say that again, Mary. Say that louder. Listen.
Listen. And when you listen, actually listen. And if you don't understand, ask questions. Don't correct. Let them know they have a safe space, open environment to say what they're feeling. That you care, you're there. The difference is with regular kids always assume. Neurodivergents don't. They truly believe if you don't interact, you don't listen, you don't care. So opening that dialogue with them and actually giving them the time of day is crucial. Break the cycle. So
beautifully said.
Huh?
I said that was beautifully said.
So have a good day. Have a good night. We'll see you back here next week.
See you later, Mary. Thank you.
Bye for now. Yep.